Welcome to this week's Weekly Roundup. It's been a minute and I didn't even realize it, so I must have had a packed calendar the last few Fridays, but we're excited to be back with updates for you. So first things first, let's check in on our street work. So we are doing a punch list of items in the Washington, Milwaukee, kind of Emmett, Montgomery area, or not Montgomery, Emmett project area. So within like the next 2 weeks, the contractor will come in and get through that punch list. I think a lot of it is kind of around landscaping, and typically with landscaping, they'll do a good job yet this fall, but they end up coming back next spring, just depending upon the weather. So we know we're going to have some contractor work there. We are still doing some curb and gutter and driveway apron work around the senior and community center. So please just watch for our teams in the roadway. And then patch list. So we'll be prepping patches. We have been prepping patches throughout the community. The paver will come, I think, October 11th. And so just please be careful watching for them doing some patchwork in a variety of roads throughout the city. On the Katy Street Bridge, so the progress on the bridge is going along really well, even though we had a few straight days of rain. I know that they have the concrete down, and so that is curing, and then they'll be doing some sidewalk repair next, and then the bridge approaches. So that project is progressing nicely. And then in the last week or so, we've started work on Boomer Street. So I know we posted about it, and I can't cover it all here. It'd be far too long. So I really would encourage you to check out our post about and our press release about the Boomer Street realignment project. This project I allocated dollars to when I was on the Common Council. So this project has been many, many years in the making. But what it essentially is doing is realigning Boomer Street into some of the vacant land the city owns, so that we have the necessary clearance that we need in the runway protection zone, so the area that comes over Boomer for airplanes to take off and land. So right now there's no interruption on Boomer Street, but I think about mid-October we'll have some interruption and a detour. There's 3 phases, but this first phase doesn't cause any interruptions on the roadway. So we'll continue to provide updates on that one as it progresses. The street department yard is open this Saturday. So this is the last Saturday of the season. So if you have those extra items, drop off is from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. This is for household items, e-waste, construction debris, those items that make it difficult to drop off during the week when the building is typically open. So this Saturday, October 7th, 8 to 12. Last one for the season as well. I did want to provide an update on 100 Western Avenue. So this is the home that had the house fire last December. We get a lot of community questions about the status and the progress. Hopefully you saw our press release or our post letting you know that we've gotten through the necessary steps to be able to remove that home. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to begin that process about midweek next week. It always is more than you expect. So I know people, just take the house down. Well, there's utility shutoffs, there's locates, there's certain environmental supervisors that need to be on site. There's trees that need to be cut down. There's a holiday in there for those companies as well. So there's always just more than what you would expect, more than what I even would expect at times, to make projects of any nature happen, let alone one like this. So please just be patient. I know you all have been patient throughout these last several months. We've always were working and we always were moving the needle. It just was a big project to push forward to get it to the point that we're at. But we will likely have some street closures at certain points of time. Actually, we will have street closures. And we're just asking you and requiring you to stay beyond those street closures, whether you're walking or trying to observe what's happening. It's for your safety. We do not necessarily, that's quite a sentence. We want to just do our best to make sure we can get the home down safely and keep everyone safe in the process. So we're going to have perimeters set up and we're asking you to please respect those. Once we get everything removed, we will come back in and kind of level the site, seed it, grade it appropriately, and then we'll begin our next phase of work probably into 2024 when things will start to move on the memorial and the design. We'll keep you guys in the loop on that. Next Wednesday is also a mayor meetup. So this one is at Harvest which is in Watertown Regional Medical Center. It's at noon, so great reason to grab lunch from Harvest Market while you're there. And then we're going to be meeting in the conference room kind of right off of the restaurant. So this is, again, just an opportunity for you to ask any questions you may have. I'm there for an hour, and people normally fill up that hour with the questions that they have. And then we will have another one next month as well. I wanted to thank the community. We had a really good turnout at the open house at the fire station last week. It's good for people to be able to engage with our firefighters and see our current station and operations. The design work continues on the new station. We're at about 60% design, so we are on track at this point to still begin our construction in the spring of 2024. Next week, we start budget meetings. It's been an incredibly busy time of year. We budget. And I think it's really important for people to know the amount of time and thought and consideration that goes into what we inevitably end up taxing people at the end of this budget process. All of our city team internally and your elected officials spend many hours carefully considering our needs and what that ask to you all is. For the first time in my time here, so the first time in 10 years, I was able to present a budget to the Finance Committee that does not increase the general fund tax levy. I've never been able to do that before. And so we will have a lot of really good discussion that I would invite you to be a part of. So please watch our city notice for next week. We meet Monday, Wednesday, I believe, and Thursday, and then we potentially meet one more time the following week. We do break those up by department. So if you care a lot about recreation, you can just come on that evening, or police and fire just that evening, or all of them if you'd like to. They're all virtual and in person, and I really would encourage people to participate in those meetings. This is a random one, but I wanted to make sure I reminded people. I believe next Friday is Chick-fil-A Friday. So the Chick-fil-A truck is coming to Watertown, and they'll be at the square. So pencil yourself in a little extra time for lunch next Friday. I'm sure there's going to be a long line. A quick update on the development to the south of the town square. So as many of you know, we were working with a high-end multifamily housing developer for many years. We started working with him when I was still on the council. He had until the end of September to get that project started, or the development agreement would return that property to the city. And clearly that work didn't begin. So we are now going to begin the process of bringing that property back to city ownership. And then in the next probably few months, depending upon how quickly we get that property back, we'll get the property back out in a request for proposal manner so that we can seek another development for that parcel. On the recreation front, we are doing our lifeguard certification course that's starting in December. So please, you know the plea I give you every spring that we need lifeguards. Please consider joining that course in December. We also have a blood drive coming up at the end of October, which are critically important that we continue to host those and people participate. So check the Park and Rec Facebook page for more info on that. And then they are doing a scam protection class next week, which is an important one. So I think this one is geared towards seniors. So if you are a senior or you are a caregiver, I really would encourage you to consider joining this class next week. Also next week, the Senior Center is doing a meet and greet. So whether you are a new member or you're thinking about joining or you haven't been to the center in a while, we're encouraging you to come next Tuesday and just meet people, which look, the Senior Center is a really bumpin' place. Like there is a lot of activity that happens there. And it can be overwhelming. I know when I go there, I'm always like, oh my goodness, there's so many people and they all seem to know each other. So this meet and greet is going to be a really good time for people, new members or people that haven't been in a while, to come and connect. We are also doing registration for men's basketball and Zumba. There's a lot going on at Rec, so just head over to our Facebook page for details. The library also has a lot going on. They're doing a writer's workshop on the 10th. They're doing their annual eclipse viewing party. They're doing this on October 14th at the square. And there's a lot more activities, so head over to their department to check out more information. On the job opening side, we still need crossing guards, so if you are interested in part-time or substitution work, the crossing guard role is the one for you. So please go to our city website and look for more info. We're also hiring for a director of public works / city engineer, a senior library assistant, police officers, a variety of recreation instructors and senior seasonal staff, and then a wastewater collections person and a water distribution technician. We also have a vacancy, well, not quite a vacancy yet, but a recruitment for a police chief. The Police and Fire Commission actually is the one who selects the police and fire chief. So they're working through that process, and I know that they have an interview, they have a recruitment process ongoing right now, and I know they have a meeting next week, and so we'll probably hear next steps from them after that meeting. There is a lot going on this weekend. I would encourage you to go to Watertown Tourism like I always do. They have a really incredible listing of all of the events happening in October, and it is very long, which is exciting that even in October, we're still a community that's bustling with events for people and a lot of different variety of events as well. I know this weekend the Main Street program is hosting their fall soiree. It's a shopping event. And then there's events happening for veterans and first responders at the square where there's food and music. I believe that's on Sunday. And we had the privilege of being a part of 2 ribbon cuttings this week for 2 new restaurants. So if none of those events catch your fancy, please visit our restaurants throughout the community or our park system like always. So have a good weekend. We'll see you back next week.